The custom, the minhag, is not to eat meat for the 9 days, starting from Rosh Chodesh Av all the way to Tisha B'Av, the 9 of Av. So these 9 days we don't eat meat. Wine is no part of this custom, only meat, and therefore we have no issue having wine for Havdalah, in example, after Shabbat. When Shabbat is over, to do Havdalah with wine will not be a problem. And regarding the meat, that we don't eat meat during the 9 days, so Rosh Chodesh is not part of the 9 days according to the Sephardi custom. On Rosh Chodesh itself, we are allowed to eat meat. So while after Rosh Chodesh, when Rosh Chodesh ends, by nightfall, or even before nightfall, if someone prayed already Arvit, he cannot eat meat anymore. Chicken is the same as meat. We don't eat meat, we don't eat chicken. Chicken is also considered meat that we don't eat during the 9 days. Food that was cooked with meat. So R.Yelloz Yosef tells us that if the meat is very fatty, and in the old dish now we have the flavor of the meat and the fat of it, then you cannot eat that dish. However, if the meat was not a fatty piece of meat, and we don't taste the meat in the rest of the dish, you will be allowed to eat the rest of the dish and not eat that piece of meat. Erev Shabbat, when a person is cooking for Shabbat and preparing for Shabbat, so even though it's 9 days, we don't eat meat, but on Shabbat we are eating meat. And during the preparation of Shabbat, a person wants to test the food in order to see if the food is prepared in the right way. He will be allowed to taste the food on Friday before Shabbat during the 9 days, but just a little bit to test, to make sure that the cooking is done right. All the leftover food from Shabbat, some have the leniency to allow a person to eat whatever is left over. Obviously, we're not talking about someone that will make extra food on Shabbat in order to have during the week extra food. But only if there is leftover, some have the leniency to allow to eat it, especially during the Seudah Revi'it, Seudat Melech Malka, the meal we do after Shabbat on Motzei Shabbat. If a person has the custom to eat meat on Motzei Shabbat for Melech Malka, he will be allowed to eat that meat. But in general, we're more strict about it, and we will not eat leftover food from Shabbat, but rather will give it to the children. A person is allowed to give his kids on the Bar Mitzvah meat to eat during the 9 days, especially if they are a little weak, and eating a good protein will be better for them. And in the same way, if somebody doesn't feel good, is sick, and the doctor recommends him to eat more protein and to eat more meat or chicken, that even though there's no danger over here, he will still be allowed to eat meat during the 9 days. A woman that's nursing, or a pregnant woman that are a little weak, and eating meat and not stopping to eat meat might influence the nursing or might influence the health and make them feel weaker, will also be allowed to eat meat during the 9 days.